Hey everybody, this is Wednesday and it's REALTUBES. Our topic this week is emotional eating and or lack of eating. For me, if I think about emotional eating and lack of eating, I think that those are manifestations or symptoms of something much deeper going on, and the image of the onion comes to mind for me, that you're constantly having to peel back the layers until you get to those core issues. For me, if I think about my lack of eating, I think about what food represents, and to me food represents life. If you don't have food, you starve to death, and so food provides you with life. And so I have to ask myself the question of, why am I not accepting of life? What's so terrifying about having or allowing life to come into my presence or my being? And if I start peeling back those layers, I'm faced with the lack of self-worth, and I don't deserve to be here, and that's been reinforced through experiences and messages that I've been given throughout my life. But I think it also comes down to trust for me. Like, do I trust myself, and do I trust others, and do I trust life? And why is it so scary for me to be here and be present? And I think that's another part of it as well. And I think when it comes to emotional eating or lack of eating, and this is just my view, is that it's not just one thing or another. I think that it's multi-dimensional, and I think there's many things in there which accumulate together to make this kind of thing real, like the overeating or the lack of eating. But for me, I think it allows me to disconnect from myself and who I am. I was having a discussion with a friend last night about the difference between working from a head level and a heart level. And a head level for me is more the analytical, intellectual, logical part of ourselves, and the heart level is more the emotional, feeling part. And for me, if you're working from a heart-centered place, I think that you are fully connected with who you are, you're fully present in this moment, you're being authentic to yourself and to everybody around you, and it's real. And not to say that when you're in your head that's not happening, but just for me and my personal experience, I think the lack of eating allows me to disconnect from what's happening at a heart level, and I can either switch off up into my analytical mind or just float off into space somewhere and completely disconnect. Because when I'm not eating, I'm feeling disconnected and numb. Disconnected and numb from myself and from life and from friends and from everything, and I don't feel good and I don't feel bad. I'm just simply not feeling, and it's like I'm on autopilot and just drifting along. And I was sitting in the waiting room. I had a counselling session today, and I was sitting in the waiting room and looking out the window, and it was raining outside, and it gave me that sense that that's how my life feels at the moment, that I'm stuck inside myself somewhere, just gazing out the window but feeling really lost and distant from being connected with life and what's happening. And it brings that sense of just being really vague and lost and disconnected. And so I think that that's what the lack of eating does for me. It allows me to escape my feelings and my emotions, which for a lot of the time right now seem really overwhelming. So after all of that, I think the lack of eating for me is a dissociation away from myself. It allows me to be numb and disconnect and not feel. Because once I start eating, then again I'm embracing life, I'm engaging life, and I'm sustaining myself, and I'm nourishing myself, and I'm taking care of myself. And when you start eating again, that on a physical level, that helps connect you as well to your emotions. You start feeling better, and you start reconnecting in with your heart-centered self, and going out and reconnecting with life. And so for me it shifts and it changes, and like it's never constant. I'm never completely over here or completely over here. I think that it's constantly shifting and changing, and it would be nice if it was completely over here, where I can be in my heart-centered space most of the time. But I think for me, in healing from my eating disorder and the lack of eating, it's been actually being able to just look over here at this and to ask why it's there, to ask what purpose does it serve within my life, and what is it allowing me to do or allowing me to achieve, and what are the gifts and what are the strengths that I'm getting from this. And once I've become aware of that, then I've got something to work with. I've got something to start healing, and I now have understanding around what my lack of eating is about. And it's, like I said before, it's the disconnection and the avoidance of my feelings, and which is the low self-esteem and lack of self-worth, and then it's about asking, where did that stuff come from? When did I first start taking on those beliefs? What was happening in my life? And just peeling back those layers, and constantly just looking and going back and finding where it all started from, and healing that part within, which is in your heart, in the center of who you are. And I'm slowly working on that. I'm slowly working on reconnecting with my inner self and starting to nourish her a bit more, and feeding her with new positive beliefs. And it's a challenge, but I'm getting there slowly. So I will look forward to seeing you guys again next week. I really apologise for the videos that I've missed so far. That's just directly a result of my health, and at the moment it's a real day-to-day thing if I've got the energy or if I haven't. But I do hope to be here, and again, thank you all so much for your support and your emails and your messages there. Much appreciated, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next week. Oh, and one last message. I don't know if many of you have seen my video or not, but I am shaving my head for charity for the Leukemia and Blood Foundation organisation here in New Zealand. If you haven't seen my video, go check it out, and if you want to sponsor me, then there's a link in the sidebar of where you can do that. I will be shaving my hair off on the 12th of March, and I will be videoing that event and uploading it onto YouTube. So yeah, if you can sponsor me in this wonderful organisation, then please do go check out that video. It's an awesome cause. I'll see you guys next week.